Dominic Wu, founder of... Hi, my name is Dominic Wu, founder of XReality Academy. Thank you for joining me today. And today I'm going to share some of my experience or experimental about how to use ChatGPT to set up a VR scene in Unity. This is the part 1. Okay, I know now you are expected to see this. You're expected to see me jumping in and start creating a lot of script and then ask ChatGPT, how can I create something? So that's, I think, what you are expect. But our VR scene setup, this video, this tutorial will be outdated after it is created. And a good VR experience will be everlasting. So let's start with the problem-solving VR experience design first. So you see, this is the hospital. And the kids, they are there and it doesn't seem really comfortable. Kids feel anxious and there are a lot of therapies or medications for them to do and they have to live there alone, right? Even though you see there are a lot of toys around, but kids are not happy, right? So our goal is to create a VR for kids, VR game for kids, for them when they are in hospital. So I think a VR setup scene, you can definitely go YouTube online and get a lot of really good tutorials. And you can get the most up-to-date, right? And you can set up very nicely, perfectly. And since the software, once we finish this tutorial, after a month, a lot of settings will be updated. So the main goal for me to convey or to share with you my presentation is that VR design or VR experience, the most important thing is that we solve the actual problem. For example, like let's say today's topic, we know there is a problem and now we are going to create a VR game that helps kids in hospital and help them to stretch or to exercise. So we know that the problem is that we can help them or the kids in hospital, they feel anxious. We want to create an app to help kids kind of exercise, and we are going to create a friendly VR immersive game. And maybe when they are getting medication, we can distract them from focusing on the miserable experience, but instead we create a nice experience while distracting them, right? And we can make it fun and engaging, make it very soothing and meaningful. So ChatGPT time, right? Right now, everybody is trying to see how or let ChatGPT to brainstorm some ideas for us. For example, can you create a flower versus zombie games for stretching exercise for kids in hospital? Or can you create a full story for this game, right? This is something that we might ask, right? And ChatGPT, of course, and ChatGPT, when I type this, right, some questions, and using the human way to ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, of course, there's a possible story for a VR game called Flowers versus Zombies, Hospital Edition, designed to help kids in hospital to do stretching exercise. So pretty much, in short, it's pretty much there's a small garden and kids can pick up the flowers and it's kind of being protected. And a lot of zombies will attack the hospital, but when you protect that small garden in hospital, and you can grab the flower and soil zombies, right? So those types of interesting gameplay, and also, you know, add a lot of really good flavors if you can see this description. So yeah, this sounds very easy, right? But let me show you behind the scene. So after we explore like ChatGPT, we find out that actually ChatGPT, what they can do is answer questions that can be found online, right? And every information, somehow there are some truth and false, like right or wrong, partial right or partial wrong inside the answer. The person who use it need to make the judgment, right? ChatGPT is kind of generate the best answer according to its kind of like a judgment. But as a human or as a user, we still need to make sure that the stuff that we pick fits or is the right answer. And it's actually very accurate, but needs the prior knowledge of the subjects. You can talk to ChatGPT like you would normally talk to a person. That's the good side of it. And I saw a post on Facebook. Yeah, this is the original post, and I download the entire image. So pretty much, for example, if you type an instruction on Google or Bing search, right, you will see endless or useless types of information. It's like an information overload, right? And a lot of advertising, and a lot of people trying to put a lot of keywords and move the things up. So you will dive into endless finding the answer and making your own judgment. But ChatGPT kind of like eliminate all those time consuming endless search, but make it really concise and easy to understand using your way or using a human way to organize any information. And it's somehow very accurate. There are always some mistakes or some parts that is not right, but overall it's pretty good so far. Okay, what ChatGPT cannot do? Okay, it can assist you, but it cannot replace you, right? And it also cannot empathize human. It's pretty much according to, if you ask something to human, it will start saying like, oh, I am just AI generated language, da 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 da, and I'm not human. I couldn't, you know, do something like human, or I'm not part of human organization or something. It's very, very interesting that ChatGPT got trained. So it can say something that is kind of assist us, but not trying to overtake us, right? And the information can be wrong without prior knowledge of a certain field, right? So, for example, when I was doing Unity, I was typing some request coding. I was lazy at copy and paste, and somehow a lot of times it was wrong because of a lot of settings, or somehow we didn't tell ChatGPT super details about our page. So when we kind of just directly copy and paste, there are a lot of wrong or error messages on the editor or on the console. So it's very important to make sure at least you have a basic ideas about what you are working on. So that will really help you to kind of reduce your error. And I would say this is kind of ChatGPT is an assistant. It's not something you just type and you will do everything perfectly. You still need to be there to make the judgment. And it provides you its answer, but you still need to decide, right? And so let's see what's behind the scene before asking ChatGPT. So you see, I jump into as ChatGPT, right? Everything sounds very easy and very, very fluent. But before I asked that question, it took a lot of time just to do the research. So let's see what's behind the scene of the research, the human part without ChatGPT. So you see, our team pretty much did a lot of researches to help to understand, fully understand, like what's the current marketing, right? What's pros and cons, or what types of interesting things happening. For example, like helping, soothing kids, right? And then we find out, according to the research, we find out that actually picking up the flower or helping birds to go back home, right? Those types of stretching in the forest. And according to the research, forest is the place that people feels the most soothing place. So all those prior knowledge you need to have, or you need to do your own research before asking ChatGPT to brainstorm with you. So you can fully control and you need to have your own direction. ChatGPT is just assists you, right? So you still need to do your own research, right? So for example, bird forest, right? It use some training and it will help people, start from putting their arms going up, going down, or grab something from the floor. So it kind of help people to gamify and do some stretching exercise. So this is a very interesting research. So before we ask that question, we actually did some research, not just randomly pop up, right? So, and you can see there are different nice scenarios, right? Immersive experience, right? So we did a lot of prior research, right? You can see there are some storytellings, right? And interesting like puzzle games and interesting things that makes kids feels kind of immersed and fun and engaged in the game, and kind of they will forget about they are in hospital, that really boring places, right? A little make them feel anxious, right? So you see, those are the research, right? And later on, we start thinking about, forest, right? Maybe having a forest garden, right? And then follow the path and start collecting stuff, right? But the interesting thing about gamification is that for boys or guys, they like to do destructive actions, and girls like to do role play. If you kind of start seeing kids when they grow up, girls like to take care of people. Guys like to do the destructive things, that detach things that make them, or violent things that release their energy, right? So later on, we came up with an idea. How about, something very similar to Plant versus Zombie, right? Or something using, like, we have girls part and we can have also meets guys part, right? Make it soothing, and some part is exciting. So it's like fits girls and boys. So those are kind of like something that before we even ask that question, that ChatGPT to help us to come up with an idea, right? Yes, you need to do your research, right? It's now everything just that ChatGPT take care of it, but we human, as a human, we still need to do our own part, right? And it kind of really save our time. Okay, if you are interested in learning more, XReality Academy. We are the problem-solving, design-driven, subscription-based, and also pair with you, or you can pick your mentors freely out of a lot of mentor pools. And so if you want to learn more, feel free to sign up our newsletter, I will put the URL on the chat. Okay, so we have a clear direction, right? We are going to create maybe a small gameplay about how can we pick up the flower, or the flower can grow, right? So maybe we start with a little area where there's small flower grow to a little bigger one, right? And we can use our hand to collect, right? So we now know that we can start with our first game mechanic. So we are going to set up a VR scene in Unity. Okay, so first you need I use Quest, but you can use your own device, right? If you have Quest 2 or Quest Pro, you can follow me. But if you have something else, you probably need to go to YouTube or go to the documentary and set up. Right now, I use Quest Pro, and people who has Quest 2 or Quest 4 can follow me. Okay, so you need to plug in your link, and I kind of prefer using PC because PC you can just build there directly. So you can see link. Now link is kind of USB 3, but it seems like it's very powerful. Yeah, so it's a very powerful USB 3, but it will it allows Quest Pro and Quest Pro 2 to sync really well. And download Meta Quest Developer Hub is an option actually. For example, if your link is not working, you can definitely export to APK and just slot in. It's much easier. Also, download Oculus PC app. This one will really save you a lot of time. And download Oculus integration. This is a public plugin. If you download that integration, you can get into the download a lot of framework study cases, and you can just pick a scene which has grab or distant grab function, and then using later on I will share with you how to steal all the good things from the framework, or from the simple scene, and then you can customize your own game through the simple scene. Because I know the majority of people who watch this, the majority of you probably have design background, right? And now I'm teaching you how to kind of at least have a basic understanding of C#, and then kind of customize from the simple scene, or go online and grab some simple samples, or some people who create some functions, and change the assets, change a little bit of parameters, and also use the powerful ChatGPT to help you to write some code, and you mix and match. Some magic things will happen. So that's what I'm going to teach you. Okay, so those are resources. Yeah, I will post those on the chat. So this is the link. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to purchase it, and you can go to Amazon. And this is my PC. I think this is a pretty good setup. Right now it's unavailable, but if you look up the specs, right? Yeah, if you need a PC, a nice PC, a good PC, this one is probably good enough to start, right? And later on, go to Oculus integration. This is a Unity plugin. You can add, right? And then later on, it has a lot of frameworks for you to learn, to use, to steal from the masters. And later on, just implement and ask ChatGPT and copy and paste some lines, and some magic things will happen. Okay, so this is the developer hub. which is an option. So for example, if your link is not working, you can create an APK and slot in, and later on, wow, you can directly go to your Quest Pro, and then go to the portal type, or there's like an unknown app under your app store, under your library, right? And then you can see you can see your build through that part. Okay, so this is a lot of names. I think it's still called Oculus because I saw Oculus logos here. So so this is probably Oculus Hub, right? And you can download it. It's only for PC. Yeah, and I know for the newest Mac, there's a way for Mac to become PC friendly. But my Mac was a little older, so I have to use PC. So so only PC available, but it allows you to directly build through Link, and you can just work on PC and build through Link, and you can just view it directly. So this is very convenient. Okay, so you might wanna ask how to sync your Meta 2 or Quest 2 or I need to go back. How to sync Link from your headset. Okay, so go here, right? And you see there's a little bar or a little unknown area like next to your profile, right? And you click, and there will be a pop-up, right? And it will say link, right? So take a look here, right? And Quest link, and you need to hit launch, and you need to go to a gray area. And if you enter to this area, right? And this means that the link is connected. If you want to disable it, press the first button and you can disable it. Okay, so the next one, you go to ChatGPT, Visual Studio Code. I know that for Unity, people usually use Visual Studio, but I find out that actually Visual Studio Code, you can still, it's much easier because they create the extension directly. So as for this tutorial, I think let's make everything easier. So I relink my my script, open software to Visual Studio, so we can make everything very easy to use. So you need to install it, right? And then it has, if you go to this website, it has all the instructions. So first you need to go to OpenAI and create an account and go to API and copy and paste that new API. And you need to download Visual Studio Code, right? Windows. And you can directly go there, and remember to download C# and ChatGPT, right? Download those two, right? Once you download extension for ChatGPT, there's ChatGPT icon will show up here, right? So it will really helps us to, do some interesting stuff, mess around using ChatGPT to write code for you. I find out it's very easy, very simple, but there are a lot of errors. Just make sure that you understand the basic before using it, because debugging is miserable if you don't know what's going on. And ChatGPT is so confident. Every time you will feel it's right, but there will be a lot of errors. So make sure that you, I would say maybe go to Code Academy, knock out the entire C# course. You should be good. You should be able to understand the basic structure. And later on, by the assist of ChatGPT, I think it should be good. You should be able to do some very cool stuff. very quickly. Okay, so today what I will going to share with you is that once you download Quest Interaction, Oculus Interaction, there are so many names that I'm so confusing. But anyway, Oculus Interaction plugins, Unity plugins. And then you will see, you open it and you go to framework. Under framework, there's a folder called usage. And today we are going to I will share with you how to steal a lot of really good assets from this framework. And then let's customize it and make something that we want. Okay, so this is the scene that when I open it and build inside my Quest Pro, right? And I kind of make a simple GIF. So pretty much you can do the distant grab, right? Very similar to that. We are going to kind of pick up some flower or some plants, right? And throw, or some mushrooms, right? Mushroom, yeah. To throw at zombie or monsters that is going to attack the hospital, right? So it's very, very interesting. Yeah, so I can, I actually went through all the frameworks, all the things. And I find out this one actually the one that we probably need because it has the distant grab. The reason why I don't want to use the normal grab is that sometimes if kids is getting medication or they have a small bed, I don't want them to trying so hard to grab something, right? So maybe, a little bit stretch and using distant grab will be better in that confined area in hospitals. So I think this might be great. Yeah, so this is the thing, and I will share with you in Unity pretty soon. And this is what we are going to tell ChatGPT. Later on, when we create a new scene and we migrate a lot of really cool assets from that scene, we are going to write a script that allows an object to grow from 0 to 1 in 20 seconds. So it will mimic the flower, start from really small, from 0 to 1, right? Imagine the flower grow, but now we are using cubes to do kind of the samples, right? Because the most important thing is the game mechanics. And the 3D object, later on, we can swap a different mesh or different 3D object. So we need to make sure that we get the basic structure of it. So this is how it works. So all you need to do is once you go to ChatGPT, this tab on Visual Studio, all you need to do is to ask question, just copy and paste this, create a cube C# script, which attach to a 3D object that allows an object to grow from 0 to 1 in 20 seconds, right? So you write this, right? And then it will pretty much very soon show this. And all I was doing was copy and paste. And it works. But it took me 4 times to do it because before I was directly inserted, I was so lazy, I didn't even read it. And it had so many errors. And later on, I kind of clean up a little bit and yeah, it works. Okay, so this is how I see in my headset when I apply one of the cube. I think the flower will grow too big and it becomes a monster itself. But it's fine. We just want to test out the mechanics so we can make it so dramatic, right? So you can see actually it works, right? And it just requires you to write a simple code. Okay, so let's jump to Unity. Give me a sec. Seems like I couldn't show all windows. Okay. Okay, so it's fine. Let me share one at a time. It seems like I couldn't share too many. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with a brand new scene. I was doing a lot of rehearsal. Okay, let's start. Oh, okay. Okay, so let me even delete it. Okay, so, I think that's not. Let me create a new one. You right click and create a scene, right? And you put 1.0 get elements. Yeah, okay, get elements. Okay, so okay, so get elements. So before that, I want to share with you the setup. So first, you need to download the plugin, right? How to download the plugin? You need to go to Asset Store. And then search online, right? And then once you maybe here, right? Open, I think it's here. Okay, so you need to go to online, right? Okay, let me share another screen. Seems like couldn't share. Okay, so you need to type Oculus integration, right? And then it's free. So if something need to pay, then that's probably not the right one. So you go here, right? And you click open in Unity, right? Right. And then you click import everything, right? And then, yeah, once you click import everything, you will be in, oh, okay. You will be in here. Give me a sec. You will be here. Package mess. Okay, so you will be here and you can click import, right? Import. Oh, yeah. And you will start doing the import thing. I've already import, so yeah, import means that make all the assets goes into your Unity. Yeah, it takes a while. So if you kind of download it the first time, it might take probably even longer. So yeah, okay. So you can click import, right? And then just that box, you just import, right? And then once you import it, you will see what you will see is here. You will see Oculus folder inside assets, and you will have everything. Audio managers, right now, we don't need it, but what you need is I think it's, yeah, not this one, is sample framework. Oculus sample framework and usage, right? And then you will see a lot of interesting things, right? You can see app deep link, custom controllers, hands, debug UI, all those stuff. But today, this is something that we are going to steal, right? Okay, we can open here. And another thing that I want to share with you is that you go to build settings. Okay. Remember to switch the original Windows build to Android and hit build, right? Or switch platform, right? And you need to see this icon here and add scene, right? Oh, okay. So I need to take this out. Which one? Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, we only have one scene, so you click add scene. Ooh. Oh, okay, I see. So Yeah, maybe this one. Okay, so add open scene means that the current one that you are opening will be added. And remember to refresh this. Ooh. And then if you sync the link, then successfully, your model is supposed to be here, right? Your model is supposed to be here. So remember to change to Android, and remember you need to see here. And then if you couldn't see it, you need to refresh it. And another thing I want to share with you is this one. I'm wondering if I can share with you this thing. In a sec. I wish you can see this. Okay, maybe I need to attach to somewhere here. Okay, so I think you can see it. Okay, so player setting, you need to put a company name something, right? Product name, version. Version control is that when you push to the App Store, you can change the version and you can change the push number, right? So those are kind of for version for different upload version control, and you click other settings. So those are the settings that will help you to make Quest Pro works if you are using Quest Pro. Other kind of other device, it will have different settings. So it's linear, right? And those, and remember it will have a really weird packaging name and version, right? And bundle. So version, bundle, those two will be once you push to the store, Meta Quest store, and once you push the second time, you probably need to change it to 0.2 and version make it 2. Okay, so yeah, so I make my API minimum to 23 works, and this one IL2CPP. To be honest with you, all those settings, I was doing it. I usually trying to set it up first just by reading it, but usually the first time setting wrong, you will see a lot of errors, and you read the errors. Sometimes you can fix it just by reading through the console, right? So this is this part. So yeah, ARM64. This is the check. Yeah. Make sure. I think those are probably the stuff that you need to. Yeah. ARM64. This one need to check. And XR plugin manager. So you need to go to. You need to click and install. There will be the initial bar like install XR plugin management. And then go to Android and click Oculus. You can, yeah, I think this one is good. Maybe the first one, Oculus. And remember, initialize XR setup, need to check. So those two, right? And you need to go to Oculus. Those two, yeah, you can check. But remember, if you have Quest Pro, the initial setting is not checked. So at the beginning, when I was doing kind of trying to sync, it didn't work. And I was checking all the settings. And at the end, I find out, oh, Quest Pro, I didn't check it. And experimental is like some interesting stuff. So you can experiment. So all you need is XR plugin management and Oculus. Make sure if you have Quest Pro, you need to check the third one. Yeah, and then yeah, build and run, right? Build. Build means that you can have one APK install and build and run is that you can not only you got APK, but it will run if your link sync on the device, you will get the runtime app as well. Okay, cool. Let's close it. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we need to use this, right? So what I usually do is I don't want to mess up stuff. So I usually copy and paste, control D. Okay, so this is an extra one. Okay, so I will drag to the scene, drag to live demo. Okay. So you will see distant grab one, right? Let's just use the one that, okay? Yeah, this one, and oh, probably this one first, right? This one is a blank one we just created, brand new one, and drag, click, long click, drag and drop, make it under it. So you will have to. What does that mean? It means that it runs two things at the same time. And now we are going to steal a lot of good things from the distant grab one thing and put some assets to the empty one. So environment, what's environment? You can close it and open it. Okay, so environment sounds like a very interesting place. So environment we can duplicate. Or we can just grab. Yeah, so environment, we can just grab and drag and drop, right? Okay. Okay, and then what's this one? Canvas with debug. We probably don't need this one because this one is kind of the debug and which won't really help us. Okay, so distant grabbable sample. Oh, this one is important because this is the grabber. The difference between grabber and grabbable is that grabber is the controller. Grabbable is the objects. Grabbable script will attach to the object, and grabber will have grabber script. If you want to learn more, you go to kind of the Quest, Meta Quest developer, and it has a lot of documentary, and also it has, for a framework thing, it has different descriptions. You can definitely go there and check. And now I just kind of very fast walk through. If you want to know more, you can definitely go to that documentary and take a look. So this one is very, very important. So definitely steal it. Oh, this one is just a big box. What this box do is that on this canvas, okay. On this canvas. On this canvas, it has two toggles. One is that you can use your controller and grab, and that the grabbables will pass through. The first toggle is pass through from that cushion box, but the second toggle will be the box will block the little wooden block. So yeah, so it's kind of like different scripts, types of toggling different scripts. So we don't need this one. Player controller, yes, this one is very important. Okay, so I think we get what we want. So debug, we don't need this big box. We don't need. Okay, so save it. Okay, so this one we can unload it. Goodbye. Okay, unload it. Okay, or just take it out, remove. Okay, cool. So we pretty much take a lot of really good stuff here, right? So this one is what we want to start with. We got all the component. But what we want is a garden, right? And then where there are a lot of grass, right? And all those blocks, we can imagine those are the game mechanics for flowers. So just ignore, the original setting. All we need is maybe we can start with letting one single block grow, right? So you can definitely try, by start building it, right? You go to build settings, and I wish you can see what I'm showing. Yes. Okay. Anyway, wish you can see what I'm seeing. Okay. So if you see, okay. Okay. So yeah, I just want to make sure everybody see this one. So you need to go to player setting, or oh no. When you build, right, you need to add the current one. So this is the rehearsal. Let's remove the rehearsal. Let's do the live one, and you can start build and run, right? Just click build and run, and it will show. I know a lot of people you can just do this, and this will sync to your quest, but it seems like not my case. So let me take a look if I can do this. Mm. Okay, so let me dive in. Oh, okay. Let me take it out. Sometimes mine is not working. Oh, so if you have link, you can just, oh yeah, it's working. Okay, so you can see what I'm seeing, right? So yeah, so let me grab something. Yeah, it's working. So imagine those blocks are flowers, right? Let's see, I'm trying to get things. Yeah, so if you have a link, you can directly build here, right? You can totally mess up things, just destroy it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so imagine we can pick out flowers, right? But flowers will grow from small to big, right? Okay, so let's mess everything up and then go back. Okay, so how can we start growing the small cubes to big cubes, right? Okay, so we need to write some script. Let's go to, with the help of ChatGPT, it should be not too hard. Okay, I've already write a cube. Let's write a cube too, so we won't confuse. Cube 2. Oh, okay. So go to ChatGPT and then log in. Can you see my screen? Oh, let's see. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, cool. So let's write something. Okay, so let's go back to copy and paste. Copy and paste. You probably need to do some testing. I would add C# because before, if first time you didn't train your butt and you just write a cube script, it will start writing JavaScript. So make sure you give a lot of instructions so it can write a very accurate thing for you. Okay, so what I wrote is create a cube C# script which attached to a 3D object allows the object to grow from 0 to 1 in 20 seconds. Okay, so see, ChatGPT said that if you are using C#, you can create a script to attach to a 3D object that will increase the size of an object from 0 to 1 over 20 seconds. Sorry, now it's 10 p.m. I'm a little sleepy, so okay, anyway. So this is our script. Wow, I think this is a very good name, scale cube. So mine is cube 2. So anyway, I think ChatGPT did a really good job to name it. Okay, so what we do is, wow, actually every time it has different script. Last time it was different anyway. So what I would do is, okay, so what this do is it create a float, which is 20 seconds. It has a static. Wow, okay, so it's 111, right? And this is a timer. So starting also when you start the game, the timer will set to 0. If the timer is larger than the growing time is 20 seconds, it will go return, so you will pass. And then, oh, wow. Okay, so this 0 will grow with time. Plus equals time dot delta time. So time dot delta time is the real time. And then transform the local scale equals lerp. Oh, it will grow from the from 0 to 1, right? Vector dot 0 is 0, 0, 0, and this is 1, 1, 1, right? And then from this, the timer will slash dot grow time. So it will slowly increase, and this will slowly increase, and it will kind of has a lerp, which means it will go very smoothly. Yeah, wow. This is the code, which was, it looks kind of a little fancy compared to the previous one. Anyway, let's copy and paste and see if ChatGPT gets it. Okay, so this is so good. So we don't have to go to the forum and trying to look up other people's question and figure things out. You just ask it, copy and paste. This is something that I really love doing. Just copy and paste. Okay, let's go back to, and remember to save it. Okay. Okay. Okay, save it. Okay. Okay. So what I will do is let's do some interesting stuff. Okay, environment, right? Dynamic. Okay, so maybe let's make a like 3 block, right? And attach to cube 2. Okay, so cube 2, cube 2, maybe the first 3 we attach cube 2. Cube 2 is the new script that we just copy and paste. Okay, so that's just drag and drop, right? So cube 2 here, cube 2 here, cube 2. Ooh, there are 2 cube 2. Let's see, we only need 1, right? 2 might be, yeah, just need 1. Okay, so I don't know what will it be, but let's take a look. Pretty simple, right? Okay, let me try. Okay, so all I need to do is to hit this button. Oh, did you see it? Did you see it? Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, I can pick the flower. Wow, giant flower. Holy shit. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on. It's a big ass cube. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so I think it works. Okay, so what we just did was to take some framework assets and figure out what we are going to build, and then start testing out the simple game mechanics, which is flowers from seed or from small grow to big. We just make it exaggerate and we prove that it works. So yeah, so let's go back. So this code works, right? The structure works. All we need to do is to change the scale and time, right? So we can very simply understand that actually ChatGPT is really quick, really fast, but you need to understand what's going on with this script. So later on, you can change the parameter. Okay, so let me share with you. Okay, thank you so much for joining today's event, and let's connect. Feel free to go to our website and take a look. And also I will share the newsletter sign up form. Feel free to sign up and get the most recent update about XReality Academy. And we are going to launch pretty soon, within few months. So definitely follow us on social media and feel free to add me as your friend or follow me. Yeah, so right now I am open to questions. Thank you so much. Hello. Yeah, so that was last night's recording. So any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, thank you.
Job. Great job.
Yeah, you see at the end I was yarning, so it was too late, like almost 11 p.m. last night. Okay, so anyone has any questions if I can answer? It's pretty much low code, no code, and there are still something to learn, and hopefully my tutorial is not bored to people who are already master in Unity. Hopefully there are something that you can take out. Yeah, not wasting your time. Okay, so yeah, feel free to raise your hand, or you want to share anything not necessary to be questioned, or if you have any thoughts. Yeah.
Are you making the project files available?
Project files. Yeah, I will. I will do it. But it takes some time.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
clean it up. Yeah. Okay.
How much time do you think you saved
My
by using ChatGPT?
Wow. Yeah, it might take it might save a few hours. For example, like just trying to figure out, how to grow things, right? I know a lot of people who has already had a pretty deep knowledge. They've already can code, from their head, right? But for beginners or for people who has design background, art background, or some other background, or some people, developers who is not familiar with C#. I think this provides at least a base knowledge. At least you see all the structure is listed out. Before, without ChatGPT, I have to Google, and you see Google will list out a bunch of forums, right? And I
Oh
will
yeah,
jump to each post and take a look and copy and paste, post it. It's kind of the same thing, copy and paste, but because other people's project is tailored to their own project, it's not my project. So there will have a lot of things that is very different from what I want. So there will be more errors to fix just by copy
right,
and paste. So
right.
ChatGPT is more customized, right? And without you to search analyst list on Google, it's basically the same thing but more personalized and more focused and more. You see, like even the script, it kind of write even the name of the script. It's already implement for you, so it feels more customized. So you just ask that chat, and there will be an answer that you probably takes you probably 1 to 2 hours to figure out, but ChatGPT just like instantly within 1 second, it's already give to you, and you can just on top of it, you can customize it. It's faster. Yeah.
Now you were finding that each time you asked ChatGPT for code, even if it was for the same thing, it was giving you a different answer. Is that correct?
Yes. The first time when I asked, it was more like using approximately 20 seconds. But second time when I asked, it's exact. So it kind of optimized every time you ask it. And first time when I asked it, I, I didn't even put C# in. So I saw a bunch of JavaScript. And second time I put C#, and the bot understand it's C#. So later on, everything was written in C#. I don't even need to mention. So that bot will be smarter and smarter each time.
Now, I think one way to use this is to, like often when you're coding something, you get stuck. You can't figure out how to do something. And so I think one way to use this is to get an idea of what you need to do. What are the API calls that I need to make? It gives you an idea, so it gets you unstuck. But I did talk to an intellectual property lawyer about this. And they said this was in the context of, you're getting ready to trying to get venture capitalists to give you money. And he said, if you're using something like ChatGPT to generate code and you're just copying and pasting the code, you better talk to a copyright attorney about that before you go to the venture capitalists, because that is a concern that they're going to have. Because where is ChatGPT getting the code? Well, it's scraping it off the web. So it may be something that may be code that somebody else owns. And you can find yourself in legal jeopardy if you just copy and paste the code. Now, if you're using it as sort of a guide to say, oh, here's the API calls that I need to make, but I'm not going to copy and paste it directly, then that's a better situation. But you could get in legal trouble if you're just copying and pasting it directly. And so you should talk to a copyright lawyer about that. And when you talk to the venture capitalists, you should say, our programmers have been using ChatGPT, but they've consulted with a copyright lawyer, and we know that what we're doing is kosher from a legal standpoint. That makes a big difference to the VCs. So just sort of a caution about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in the future, I think Elon Musk already tweet a bunch of awareness that he wants the law enforcement or people who make the law make sure that we implement the AI law before ChatGPT or any other AI go viral. So just to protect or just to make sure the world will not go chaos. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Any other thoughts, comments? Feel free to unmute yourself and chat, or you can turn on your video. Yeah. So I look up a bunch of names. Yeah. Cool.
Any other tips on using this ChatGPT to generate code? Any other like tricks or things that you found useful that you need to do to get good results out of it?
Yeah, you can pretty much write something. For example, I write because one time my script was not working, and I just directly write my script was not working, like grabbable was not working. One of the stuff that I implement was not working, and I type any possible debugging solutions, and it lists out like 8 different solutions, and I start one by one check, and actually it the third one it predict it right. So I follow the instruction and fix it. So you can add suggesting debugging, and also you can copy the entire code, C# code, right, and paste to ChatGPT and said that, hey, I don't understand what it says. Can you explain it to me in human language? And it will break it down and explain the entire C# code to you. And you can keep asking questions and it will remember your previous conversations. So it's very convenient. For example, if you kind of get some framework and then you don't know a certain kind of variables or some certain parts, and you can just copy and paste and say, hey, what does this mean in human language? Yeah, so that one. And also if you have any errors in your console, you can copy and paste. And instead of going to Google, and look up all the forums and see how people fix it, you can just ask, hey, how can I fix this error in Unity in human language? Yeah, because sometimes I like to say in human language, because if you put like in human language, it will kind of carefully say something that or even kids understand. So I kind of like, so you need to write a very specific, what's this, and what's the problem, and what's the intent, or what's the result you are looking for. So if you can kind of very clearly put those things, usually it's pretty accurate, unless something was not up to date to the on the web. For example, like when I was setting up Quest Pro, I think for software updates, sometimes they update without putting on the documentary, so the website didn't catch it. So in that case, ChatGPT won't catch it. So when I follow the steps of setting up my Quest, I do find out a lot of stuff that is new, and then ChatGPT didn't catch it. For example, like I want to enable my hand tracking in Quest Pro, and the instruction from ChatGPT, it says that go to device and go to your setting under device and enable hand tracking. But actually is go to your settings, go to your system and enable the hand tracking. And I was follow the direction that ChatGPT did, but I think maybe that was the old information, and the new one I need to go to system. So something, if it is up to date too fast, then ChatGPT might not be able to catch it. Yeah.
Okay, just on the same lines, So how do you put the two pieces of text? Are there two different places? One place you put the code and another place you put the question, can you fix this code for me? Or can you suggest what it does? Is it two different windows, or is it like?
Oh, it's an extension, right? So you need to download the extension first, and it will have an extra icon under it, which is ChatGPT. And then you can keep asking questions and you will reply to it. Let me see, because I have my PC open just in case, and I can share my screen on PC. Let me. Yeah, so give me a sec. So pretty much you need to go to extension, right? But before you get this icon, you probably need to go to OpenAI and register an account and copy your own API so you can get sync. So you need to add this extension, right? Yeah, and there are a lot of steps, and you can do it. And I think the more you use it, and the more it can be smarter each time. So you need to go to generate your API, go to OpenAI, and you need to get an account. And then you log in and go to API key and copy and paste to the, this has a very good walkthrough for you to kind of sync, right? And then it's kind of like a account link, and double make sure you are human, something like that. And so once you do this, and you can totally use ChatGPT and copy and paste code or add something, or and it's so easy. And there's another button which allows you to create a new script you don't even need to copy and paste. You just create a new, and with all the script being copied. So yeah, it's just so simple. And you can definitely work, one is your mentor, AI mentor, another one is you, and you can kind of jump around. And it's interesting. You can try it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, so are there two, like you paste say your script in, say, that window there, but where do you put your question? Is it in a different window, or?
Okay.
Let's say, please help me with this script, for example. And
okay. So this is ChatGPT extension, right? Once I install.
Yeah.
So so your question will be here, right? And it also has suggesting, right? So improve your code, copy or create your new file automatically. Okay, so let's say maybe I want to change, let's say change the hue, change the red. Second. Yeah, let's try it. It sometimes it will work really well. So you need to have your judgment to be able to understand. Yeah. So when you click, it will start writing this. Oh, this is probably JavaScript, right? So you need to so create to be red color. So still need to have some adjustment. And Yeah. So for example, gain object cube, right? And if
Yeah.
you use, or if this is already attached to it, it should be
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I mean, you can have gain object find. This is, oh, you probably don't need this one, right? Because you don't need to find, right? So it's still not that smart. It still needs training. So I think probably intermediate coding skills, and you will be able to just read the code. And it also have a pseudocode here, right? Yeah, so you can kind of read it and copy and paste, adjust it. I wouldn't suggest you directly insert, because for example, if your mouse is here, right, something will go around very fast.
Yeah.
So if you do this, right, you will just copy and paste directly under. So you kind of don't want to do that. You kind of want to just steal something, and it has pseudocode to help you understand what's going on with each lines, and you can selective and reorganize or rewrite. So yeah, so I would say kind of save time to just dive into the documentary and trying to figure things out. Yeah.
So Don, when you're creating or when you go from Unity and you double click to open the script, if you have both C# and the ChatGPT enabled in the Visual Studio Code, will it automatically open into this platform that allows you to do both? Because right now, for example, my Unity will automatically open into Visual Studio 2022. It doesn't auto go into Visual Studio Code. And so is there a setting that you can do to switch that?
Yes, you need to go to preference and
Is that in Unity?
Yes.
Okay.
You can Google it or ChatGPT it to ask how to change, but there's a preference. You click and you need to kind of sync, or you know what? You can just right click and open with, and you select Visual Studio.
Okay.
So it will remember. So for example, like
and then if you want to create a new script, not when you're in Unity, but you just want to create a new script and ask ChatGPT within that partnership, then how do you create a new script, I guess, is that question. If you're not in Unity, but you just want to be scripting using ChatGPT and C# or ChatGPT and Python. I know that this is about Unity and C#, but
can you ask again? Sorry.
Yeah. So if you're just in the ChatGPT in the Visual Studio Code, how do you create a new script, not that you have imported from Unity, but just a new script to then ask it whatever question that you want to ask it? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you can just say create, right? Create a Python.
Because I keep getting errors and I don't know when
what's your intention? What's your intention?
Well, so let's say that I want to create a something super basic, like it's a problem that comes up in beginner code is write the number of squares. If for user input n, write the number of squares. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is whatever. So just to do like a very, very simple problem solving within C#, not specifically related to Unity, but how do you just ask it, or how do you create code within Visual Studio using ChatGPT? Can you do that?
You can kind of trying to ask the question, right? And let's see whether ChatGPT can do it. What's your question? Create and
Jim, do you know that's like a very simple, do you know any very simple programming, like problem solving questions?
I know you are trying to put like a Python, right? Because Python has like an input and output, and you can kind of pretty much use like an input and
sure. Yeah, because when I'm asking it, I just keep getting over and over that I'm getting a ChatGPT error 429, and I just was curious to see if I'm asking a question wrong, or if I'm just if what's happening with my.
What's your question? That's define the question. What do you want to ask? Like, can you just kind of tell me what's the question? I kind of know you want to create a Python, like, in console. Like, I don't know. I was doing a lot of like Code Academy stuff, and it has at the beginning it has a lot of inputs, outputs, and you put something and something will pop up. I think right now this is syncing to Unity. So it will has a lot of things that need to sync with Unity's library in order to do it. But I would
Okay.
say if you write this and using maybe, because right now all the libraries is kind of using.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, so you probably need to find that specific library and you input, and you can probably ask a question, and it won't have a lot of errors if you have the
The correct libraries.
yeah,
That makes
the
sense.
correct. Yeah, so
Okay,
that's
that's
just
probably
what
is
I'm
the issue.
guessing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
is
mean,
I need to put in the correct libraries. That answers that question. Thank you.
yeah. I hope that answers, because I haven't really done anything like input system, and yeah, I think it will work, and yeah, you just have to type the right questions or dive into the different libraries. Yeah, or anybody like who is the professional developers want to answer this question.
Well, you
Anyone
could
wanna-
probably ask it to do a simple sort algorithm, for example, and that would require a minimum of extra stuff.
Yeah, so it's very powerful here, and it depends on how you want it do, and you just need to kind of trial and error and see what error it comes. And if you don't even know the error, you copy and paste the console error and re-ask, and in the human tone, and it will tell you what's going on. So it's kind of back and forth, similar to debugging with Google Engine, but it just saves a lot of time of browsing all the forums. Yeah. Right.
In my experience, I haven't used ChatGPT a ton for writing code, but I have a little bit, and it's very good at like general structures and like variable naming and giving you an idea of what things can look like. But you got to be very careful about like specific math and logic. Like if you have it give you something for like an algorithm or something, if it's like a general like sort algorithm, like Jim said, it'll probably be okay because it probably got that from somewhere. But if you've got a more specific use case for, I don't know, some algorithm, like I think I had like one that was like converting from a numeric number to like an alphanumeric code, and it was getting various things wrong. That didn't even necessarily catch at first. It was only when I was testing it when I was realizing it was like, it had the wrong starting values, and the actual algorithm itself was wrong based on what I said. But it was a good starting point. So from that I was able to get to the right answer. But yeah, at least when I was doing that stuff, it was I had to be very careful about the logic, and I had to like test with various things and determine whether it was accurate or not, and fix the parts of the math that it didn't quite get.
Yeah, because sometimes our system or our game will become very complicated, and ChatGPT might not have all the knowledge of what we are building, so it will suggest or you will build something wrong. So I would say that we need to have a pre-request knowledge, or we need to be able to do the final decision, or we need to be able to sort out all the garbage information, because ChatGPT is so confident about, this is the only one answer, right? Use the critical thinking, right? This is the facts, but whether it is the right one, we need to decide. So I think the foundation, go back to the original concept of all the coding structure. I think we still need to learn foundation, but it will definitely help us to make everything quicker. Yeah. yeah, any thoughts, feedback?
I'm setting up boot camp right now. I've got the last Intel MacBook Pro, that 16-inch MacBook Pro that Apple made. And so I'm setting up boot camp, and the idea is that I wanted to get it to do the PC VR gaming over the Quest 2 using the link cable. And I've heard of people doing that before, so I know it can be done. And then if you want to, you can take that boot camp and you can install Parallels 18 Desktop Pro on the Mac side, and you can use that as a virtual machine. And so, you get sort of double your money's worth by doing something like that, and you've already got that virtual machine basically all set up. Now, on the Apple Silicon Macs, you can't run Boot Camp because you can't natively run Windows on that machine. Although you can use the version, the ARM version of Windows 11 within Parallels on that machine and get that to run probably fairly well. Now, I don't know if you can use that link cable with a virtual machine in Parallels to do the same sorts of things. I don't know if that will work or not. I haven't done a deep dive on that to see if anyone has tried to do it, but perhaps that's possible. So anyway, I think it's interesting to look at this from the Mac side and see what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah, I think right now, today, we just talk about Meta is going to build their own AR platform engine, right? So people can just, generate a lot of content on their platform and then export to their device. So very similar to Xcode to Apple's device. So they are doing that streamline of production. So yeah, I think it's very exciting, but it's good and bad. It's like a really limited to the device, but if they can build it so easy to use, right? Very similar to Spark AR or Lens Studio, but also it is like for beginner, it's easy to use on the interface but also it has the developer mode, which you toggle, you can customize a lot of code, right? So I think, I think more competition or more people working on this area, it will always make the engine better or make the flow better. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy to see more interesting platform or device coming up.
I was curious about something. You set everything up for the Quest Pro.
Mm.
What would happen if you just used the Quest 2 with everything that you had set up? Would it work?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I've been contracting with Meta for past 2 years. And this is the first time I use Quest Pro. And before I use Quest 2. And it's pretty much the same. The difference between Quest Pro is that it has the iris detection. I forgot, like those two have the same thing. And also Quest Pro can detect your facial expression.
Right.
So yeah, and the rest of it, I think they share the same system. So it should be all good, but that knowledge was 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
But now maybe something is different. Yeah, so I think everything is every update every week or every day, right? So I believe the tutorial that I make today will be outdated once I publish. So yeah, just double check the website or try it and make sure you are up to date. Because
I think that speaks to the question of, there's so much stuff that you would do on the Quest Pro that was developed specifically for the Quest 2. And so you're not going to see a whole lot of difference. But if people decide to try to take advantage of the Quest Pro, how well does that translate back to the Quest 2?
I would say just treat Quest Pro is a very expensive, beautiful decoration of Quest 2. It's pretty much the same thing, just
Superset. Yeah.
it just looks, looks really hip. You see, like this, right? It looks cool, right?
It's a good accessory, yeah. It's good fashion accessory.
I think it's mostly just it utilizes a few extra plugins or something for those things. Otherwise, it's mostly the same.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you see, like there are more sensors, and yeah, it looks pretty hip. And otherwise, everything's the same. It's just if you take Quest Pro, people think, oh, you are a hardcore gamer or a cool geek, right? But if you take Quest 2, people just like, oh, you are, yeah, like a toy, right? So I don't know. Yeah, and the system is the same. And I kind of asked a bunch of people, and I use Quest 2, and I asked them that, hey, if I want to build Quest Pro, what should I do? And they say the same thing. It's just the same thing, just look different. Yeah.
And by the way, we mentioned this a couple weeks ago. The Quest Pro price had dropped by $400.
Oh,
Oh, has it?
yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Apple
too
did
late
too much.
for Dominique's purchase, but
Yeah, I purchased it right after Mark Zuckerberg announced it. I was like waiting for that website to go live. So yeah, too late. Mm. Yeah, but Quest 2 is getting more expensive, right? It's interesting.
yeah.
It's only
Wow.
it was only a 1 week sale. Oh,
Oh, was it?
that's what this website's claiming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to buy it, just yeah. But I would say there are so many new things coming up, right? And Apple just postponed their glass. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there are so many cool stuff coming out. And yeah, we just have to experiment which one is the best. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Any other feedback or something you want to say?
Aren't you glad you did a video?
Oh yeah. So many opportunities for things to go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, goes so wrong, right? And yeah, I'm really happy that I got the chance to create this, because it's also helping me to pull everything together on my end. And I start realize that actually, yeah, because we are so afraid that ChatGPT will take our jobs, right? But we finally figure out actually we are still better than them making the decision, but they are really good at doing the research. So this morning, I just mentioned that I listened to WSJ, the news. One of the call center, they use kind of AI bot to do the customer service. And they even measure that normal human or normal staff, they do the customer service average time is 8 minutes, but AI can do reduce to 2 minutes. And the satisfaction was really high. Why? Because people are complaining, right? When people call to call center, it's all complaint, but AI doesn't have any emotion, right? So it's perfect when people want to talk and, being unsatisfied about things, they can just talk and AI won't feel any reaction. So actually AI bot does have a lot of good feedback for that call center. So, and that call center also start using AI to manage human, to kind of doing a lot of evaluation about how the human staff, how's their tone, how's their time, how's their performance about answering the customer's question or taking the complaint or solving the problems. So it's interesting to see some job will go being take over, but some jobs will be created. Like Jim this morning mentioned that kind of telling or kind of like telling whether this is fact or fact check, this types of job will be increasing, right? Or some human kind of trying to figure out the right or wrong or tell the true or false, this types of job will be in demand.
Yeah, I used to work in a call center, like developing software, and it was already kind of going that way anyway. Like they had the automated IVRs that you can build software for, long time ago, and I've made those.
Oh,
But that's like ancient. It's built on like ancient tech, so there's like it had difficulty just understanding people's speech, and often if you listen to people on calls, there's so many like background noises, or like they'll cough, or a random noise will happen in the background or something, like right as they're saying something that, or they'll mumble it or something that that's a lot of times why it fails, but not always. But yeah, the actual like human aspect of it, oftentimes they got to follow a pretty strict script, and they're trained to follow that script. So to make sure that things stay relatively consistent. Whereas I imagine with an AI, it can kind of cut right to the chase, just like, hey, what do you need? Okay, we'll do this. Whereas just to be on the safe side, they train human operators to just be like, all right, you're gonna start here, you're gonna say this, you're gonna say this, then you're gonna say this, then you're gonna say this. So
And then at the end of the script, it says, tell them to reinstall the operating system.
yeah, and I do like in WSJ this morning. It talks about someone with British accent. Kind of like AI did mess up some accent. Some customers with accent. For example, one accent, British accent, kind of say lake or leak, right? Leak and lake. And AI kind of mess up the kind of like the message, and kind of make lake to leak or leak to lake. So yeah, so also accent, right? As for human being, we probably understand more about the accent, and while AI probably sometimes if the input was wrong and the entire message will be wrong, or the entire place, the order or the execution will be wrong. So yeah, so
Well, it also depends a lot on what material they were trained with, because if they were trained with material for auditory processing, if they were trained with material that was mostly from an American speaker, but you're trying to implement that in any other setting, then it's going to have a lot of difficulties. But we're saying a lot of these models are being trained with American data, and so that's something that we'll have to definitely be expanding and creating a workarounds and incorporating a better references to a variety of different cultures. I know that if you ask ChatGPT almost anything about the Indian culture, it kind of gives you meme answers. Like it just does not get it right. And the same thing if you try to use some of these text to image editors to create cultural references outside of the United States, it gives kind of meme-like answers. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly developers catch on that that's an issue and start retraining it with a broader data set.
Well, I just set up Siri on my Mac yesterday, and I have it set up so that I can turn her on or off. I don't want her listening all the time. But when I first set it up, they said, okay, we want you to say these following sentences. And that trained Siri to sort of get used to my voice and whatever accent I might have and so forth. So maybe there are some innocuous questions that the system could ask people in the beginning of the conversation to sort of come up to speed on what their accent is and so forth.
Background or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Yeah, anybody has any questions, feedback, or any topic you want to bring related to AI, ChatGPT, or any technology cool stuff you want to share with us? Anybody?
Dom, it's Kyle here. Can you do more Unity tutorials, because I'm learning quite a bit, so it's helpful,
Oh,
And
you,
in the future, when you're doing this VR integration with Unity, it's quite a learning experience for me as a developer. So the more you do, the more I think I'll learn. Thanks.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, actually, if you see my presentation, the first slide, I put one. And
Mm.
I was trying to knock out the entire thing, but I find out, at the end, I almost lose my voice. I
Mm.
was about to jump to the scene 2. I was trying to cover as much as possible, but I find out I just feel like I couldn't do
Yeah, it's
anything.
fine.
I was too tired.
It's fine. We
But
need a break. Yeah.
yeah, but I think maybe we can do weekly, right? Every week, Saturday,
Mm-mm.
and I can, I will use Monday to Friday and trying to figure things out and trying to debug with ChatGPT. Yeah, and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
basics, just yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will do a series of that, and
Mm.
yeah, and I'm happy that people is really helpful, and possibly maybe next week I can create another one, which is the second part 2 of today's, because you see we come up with a concept, right? The reason why I want to start with the user experience is that we jump into something super cool and we create a bunch of digital trash, right? For example, we create something and just test it out, but it doesn't really help the world, or because right now the execution becomes much easier than before. So how can we spend the time right and create something that is meaningful, that is more important than we create something super cool, right? So yeah, so that's why I like to jump into, let's create something that is more meaningful, and start with research and start with dive into what people really needs, and we create something. And we have so many different people and everyone create different solutions. And yeah, I think that will be really
I
helpful.
think the kids is a good starting point, because you can train them at the early age with the VR system. You increase the brain capacity to learn much quicker when they're young. That's why that Unity program you had will be very good for like 5-year-old learning basic skills. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I will create a part 2 next Saturday. And yeah, if you are interested, feel free to join, and I will swap the cube to flowers and grow it, and more,
Anything. It's fine.
more logically, and also kind of see what ChatGPT can do, helping me debugging, and also read the script for me, or some cool stuff that I explore. Yeah, I will share the experience.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that, though. Much
Yeah.
appreciated. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anybody has any thoughts last minute? Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, hopefully see you guys pretty soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yep.